So, Mr. Crampton, you're from Tulsa?
No, I'm from Chicago.
Chicago. You live in Tulsa?
Yes,
How long have you lived in Tulsa?
since 1952.
How come you moved to Tulsa?
Well, my parents bought a house here, and so we decided we would move here. It was purchased as an investment, but when they did it, they decided they would just move here and live here.
How old were you at the time?
16.
Were you happy to move from Chicago to Tulsa?
I loved it.
So did you have any preconceived notions about what Tulsa would be like once you got here, moving from Chicago?
Nothing. I had no idea what it would be like. And I was shocked. The first morning I woke up, and there was a mimosa tree in bloom and a colored bird, like a red bird or something. I'd never seen a colored bird, one with color. All I'd ever seen was a wren and a mimosa that was a blooming tree. I thought we'd died and gone to heaven. It was so miraculous to see all this gorgeous stuff. I was really quite thrilled with it.
What neighborhood did you move to?
We moved to 17th and Cincinnati. And back then there were several restaurants, like 18th and Boston. And it was kind of a really wonderful little neighborhood. Went to Central High School. And I moved here in June, and I believe the Coliseum burned down in July.
So you didn't...
I never saw the Coliseum, but we ran outside and looked at all the smoke, and everybody kept saying, "Oh, the Coliseum is burning, the Coliseum is burning." But I didn't know what that was, I'd never seen it.
What were the restaurants that you said that you really liked?
What was the famous Italian? Baker's was one of them, and the Louisiane.
Mm-hmm.
They were on the corner down by us, and Christina's Flowers was down at the bottom of the hill. There were several little restaurants and stuff up there in that neighborhood.
How long did you live at that part?
We lived there 1 year, and we moved to 15th and Norfolk,
15th and Norfolk.
which is just west of Peoria.
So did you live in that was like a little bungalow probably?
It was a bungalow, and it belonged to the Moskowitz of Moskowitz Furniture Store. And across the street was the brother Moskowitz house, and some friends of ours had bought that one. So it was really quite a big thing to move here and be part of that history, I remember a couple of things that really stood out a lot. Ice cream was 2 scoops for a nickel. And in Chicago, ice cream was a dime a scoop. I mean, and for a kid, that was like miraculous to have that. And phone calls were unlimited. And in Chicago, a phone call was a nickel and a nickel a minute. No, a nickel every 3 minutes. They would charge you another nickel. So when the girl across the street called me on the telephone, I thought, they must be so rich. It's unbelievable to call me on the telephone and talk when money must have meant nothing. And then I found out it was unlimited. And then, of course, I became a telephone fanatic. I was just on the phone all the time talking to my friends as I met them. There were little things like that were just terrific.
So did you stay in Tulsa after you got out of high school? Or?
I did. I went to work at Christina's Flower Shop. And they told me that if I worked there for 4 years, she'd give me a certificate, would be the same as a college education in florist industry. And I said, okay, so I did. And at the end of the 4 years, I said to her, you told me after I worked here for 4 years, I'd get a certificate. And she said, I did? And so she went out and she had a plaque made, and they did a little ceremony. She'd forgotten all about it. And they did a little ceremony and presented me with this plaque after 4 years of working there and learning everything about the flower business. It was a really great experience.
So did you stay in the flower business?
No, I stayed in it a little bit after that, and then I became a hairdresser.
Okay.
I went to beauty school here, and then about 25 years later, I bought the beauty school.
Which one? Where's that?
That was Roberts. At that time, it was like 11th and Rockford.
One last question. So, since you've been in Tulsa, what has changed and gone from Tulsa that you miss the most?
I think the thing that I'm the most sorry about are some of the fabulous historical buildings that they tore down for parking lots, like the Ritz and the Orpheum and the Ekdar Temple. Those buildings were never to be replaced. They were so full of Rococo and gorgeous organs, and they were beautiful. I mean, they were really beautiful. And even then I knew they were beautiful.